Vahina.
Episode 11, Leonard Joe speaks. Let's get
Oh,
to it. Let's get to it. What do you got? What do you got on
uh,
deck here?
okay. The main thing I've got this week, and I've calmed down quite a bit over the last 24 hours because this is I did that thing that Lencho does where because I've never actually created anything, but I like to think of myself as a very creative person. So you give me some details, and I just pick it up and run with it, and I just think of how I think it should be, which becomes ergo how
The
it should
truth.
be. And when they announced that Riri Williams was going to be the new Iron Man,
Hmm.
15-year-old African American young woman, she got into MIT, built a suit of armor in her dorm room, comes to the attention of Tony Stark, and something's going to go down in Civil War II that Tony is not going to be Iron Man anymore, and he's going to pass the mantle on to Riri, and which I think is fucking awesome. I think Marvel being more diverse and welcoming more readers to comics, just because I mentioned in a previous podcast that we did, but I mentioned a book called Comic-Con and the Business of Pop Culture
Yes, you did.
by Rob Selkowitz, and I found it, and I was rereading it in bits and pieces on vacation, and so he talks about the challenges that comics face as a business, just as in competing for market share, in competing for the dollars of their consumers who are often young and have limited income and what have you. So he talks about how comics are competing against against movies, against video games. Video
Oh
games
yeah.
is one like kind of like the go-to storytelling medium of the new millennium.
Hmm.
Their budgets and their profits rival that of of Hollywood, of
Oh
major
yeah.
blockbusters. And so you've got your average video game, talking about he was referring to console games, but it goes
Well,
across multiple.
still, yeah.
And so a game costs $40 to $60, and for that money, you get on average weeks of interactive storytelling, interactive
Especially,
engagement with your customers.
especially if it's online.
Exactly. If it's
Battle
online, MMORPG, all that stuff. So
Battlefield 4. I've got like 1,500 hours in that game.
that's
That's
God. I
stupid
wish I
time.
had $1,500
Little chunks here and
dedicated.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that game came out 3, 4 years. I think.
And so
Yeah, a
compared to
while ago.
that, individual comics nowadays are $4 to $5. You
Yeah, they
know,
are.
it's a bargain. I don't know if any The Walking Dead might still be $2.99. I haven't been to my comic shop in several months. Apologies, because there's a oh bummer. Okay, I'll get back to that. But anyway, um,
There's a bummer. Only knows there's a bummer going on.
there's a bummer coming up. So don't enjoy anything too much because now that's going to loom overhead. But anyway, so you compare that to a comic, which on average costs $4 to $5, and you're done with that thing in less than a half hour.
Yeah, 20
Takes you
minutes
less than
maybe.
a half hour to read it, bag it, board it, put it away, very possibly not do anything with it after that.
Ever
You
again.
decide, own it, and that's what you do. So
We
that's
used,
what
we used to go to the shop as a kid, and you'd get a book and just like tear through it. You had to finish it before I did.
well, that you see, there's like a lot of different schools of thought on reading comics. Like some because I remember my trigonometry teacher, my junior high. Uh,
The Alf guy. That guy?
no, not Q.
Oh,
Uh, I don't think you knew him. But my junior year, he was a big comics fan. He's the guy who really turned me around on Batman. I couldn't do trigonometry for
wait,
shit, but
hold on a second. Your junior year, I was there. Sophomore year, we both were at
okay,
St. Joe's.
His name was Nicholson. It was Mr. Nicholson.
Ah, yes, I remember because you guys were obsessed with Jack at the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His first initial was J. So Paul and I were looking at each other and we're like, wait, but no. So we had, moments of fantasizing that Jack Nicholson was going to be our
So anyway,
That did not happen.
no.
So he's the guy who turned me around on Batman. He would
Yeah.
talk about the books he was reading that night. Like it was, you could tell it was an evening ritual for him. Like he'd have, he's like, "What am I reading tonight?" He's like, "Oh yeah, tonight I'm reading the new Flash," and I'm like, he'd mentioned two, maybe three books. So he would, I picture him, smoking jacket, uh,
Pipe, perhaps.
a pipe, possibly a glass of sherry. I don't know. I don't know his taste. He can do whatever he likes. He was a great teacher, good man. The fact that he couldn't teach me trigonometry is not his fault. I'm sure the man was an excellent teacher. Uh, so
But
he was one to savor his comics, which is the point I was getting to in that. Me, I tend to go through them really, really quick and just do it several times. Wow, wait, I do other stuff.
hey, wait a minute. That's why the ladies call you Flash.
Yeah, there it is. There you go. You got it. Hey, I give those ladies the best 48 to
Seconds.
72 seconds of their life. So we went there.
Oh, you're wrong.
Went there. Um, but yeah, so I would go through them quickly, but then I would often just go through them several times, and everyone digs out their old books every once in a while. God, I got the books that I'm looking to maybe sell, but that's a whole other adventure.
Yeah, that's.
Um, and so before I sell anything, I'll probably go through and read them again. Just take that walk down memory lane. Um, and so that's what comics are competing with. You get spend $4 to $5 a book, and you're done with it in a half hour. And if you get, so which means nowadays, if you collect 10 titles,
That's.
which when I was in my prime was nothing, that was a
Oh.
fraction of what I was getting.
Oh yeah.
So nowadays, if you're looking to collect 10 titles, you're spending 40 to $50 a month on comics. That's a big expense.
Dude, we were
And they're
buying we were buying 10 to 15 a week.
Yes, I remember at Comic Collector in North Riverside, where we went for
That's where we
books.
went. That was our
I
place.
remember like he was ringing me out one time. He's like, "Wait a minute," and he looked and he's like, because he was giving me the wrong discount. He's like, "No, no, I knew you were the full. I got the full discount at the shop because I was, he would give me the sheet. And I'm like, yep, this. I need these three X-Men books. I need these three Batman books. I need Cap. I need Spider Man.
Because that's how they did it. It was a sheet of all the comics they were ordering in, and you just checked off what you were keeping, what you wanted.
Good old days.
Before computers.
And so that's what they're competing with.
So how much
Marvel,
was it? You said he was giving you the discount and checking you off.
yeah, he was ringing me out one time, but he started to give me the wrong discount. And he double checked my sheet, and he's like, "Oh yeah," because he was giving me the lower discount. But he's like, "No, no, no, you'll get the good stuff. Might be appreciate it.
Okay, okay. So like
Have,
we get like I
have,
think it was you subscribed to like over 20 or 25, then you got like more of a discount or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah."
Yeah, that's how I did that.
And so, given that that's what they're competing with, I love the fact that Marvel is diversifying. You've got, uh, I have notes this week. You've got Kamala Khan, who is the new Ms. Marvel. She's a young Muslim girl. You've got Miles Morales. I believe he's half black, half Puerto Rican. He was the Ultimate Spider-Man after they killed off that Peter Parker.
Mm.
Uh, Spoiler alert. You've got Jane Foster as the female Thor now, which your friend can really that's probably actionable because she did the
She
female
did the whole thing, yeah.
before everybody else. And you've got Amadeus Cho. I double checked the name. It is Amadeus
We
Cho,
talked about that
uh,
last one, yeah.
and he's somehow absorbed because they killed off Banner, but not the Hulk, and he is absorbed. He's the new Hulk. Like he's the Hulk, but he's a different guy. I don't know how they
Mm.
did that. I'll pick up a trade.
Something to get around the naming licensing stuff of the movies.
Yes, yeah. Just because we want to make another Hulk movie, we don't have to give Universal any money.
Yeah.
So you've got all that stuff going on, and that's great. So Riri Williams, let me be perfectly clear. I am not a hater of this idea. I love this idea. I love having the new Iron Man be a young black woman. I think that's fantastic. But here's the thing. I got very because they and when they first made the announcement, they talked about how, yeah, we're looking for the right name. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's going to be the new Iron Man. It became very important to me that the character still be called Iron Man. I thought that because for my money, that drives home the diversity angle. That drives home, you know what? Yeah, the new Iron Man is a 15-year-old African American woman. Deal with it. That's what I want. That's what I wanted them to do, and that's not what they're doing.
So because I think I had
They're
mentioned they should call her Iron Maiden, but what they
the
do?
Iron Maiden is something that came up because Brian Michael Bendis was quoted as saying, "Yeah, Iron Woman seemed a little old fashioned." Not to say nothing of the fact that it made me all marble mouthed, and who is that? But so Iron Woman is, let's face it, that's a dumb name. That's a dumb name, and they're like Iron Maiden. Yeah, it's a legal nightmare. So we
Right.
couldn't go there. So apparently it was Joe Quesada who, after Bendis told him where Riri's story is going to go, Joe Quesada is like, "How about Ironheart?" Which everybody just loves. Oh yes, it's wonderful. The name Ironheart, said writer Brian Michael Bendis, quote, speaks not only to the soul of the character, but to the Iron Man franchise as a whole. Tony first put on the armor to save his heart. Riri puts it on for different reasons altogether, but still heart related. End quote. Pardon me, I think I had a bag around here. Some, that the fuck out of here, Bendis. And
It's gonna be for love.
yeah, she's all about heart. Because
Right.
she's I don't know if she's from Chicago, but she's from some inner city, and she got into MIT. She's a genius. She got into MIT at 15, and she comes to Stark's attention. So she's all about heart. She's got the eye of the tiger, all that, and it's fantastic. This is a great character. It's a great story. But and furthermore, because they're being very cagey about what happens to Tony at the end of Civil War. They're not saying because War Machine was recently killed off. Jim Rhodes was killed off in the comic appearance.
Nice.
Tony's dealing with a lot of shit, which is the primary reason he's not going to be Iron Man anymore. Rhodey's dead. Uh, his company is falling apart apparently, so he's got a lot of stuff on his plate.
Right.
So he's going to pass the mantle to Riri. And the other thing that really bothers me is Riri's in armor AI, Riri's Jarvis, basically,
Hmm.
will be based on Tony's own personality. So you're going to have a snarky Tony Stark AI as kind of her onboard
Hmm.
sidekick while you're doing this. Uh, Tom Brevoort, the editor, said, "quote Regardless of where he might be physically, he'll be soaring along with her spiritually."
Oh.
Right? It just
Oh.
gets you right here. Yeah. Yes. Cue vomitous acceptance of this.
Wow.
And but so all I see in this, the message that sends to me as a cynic. I'm kind of beyond cynical. I think I'm at a point where I think cynics are cute and cuddly, and I just want to squeeze their little
Is it
cheeks. But
sardonic?
uh, uh, uh,
Could be sardonic. Anyway.
malcontent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all this says to me is, yeah, the new Iron Man is a woman. Don't worry, not really, because she's the book. The book is still going to be called the Invincible Iron Man.
Hmm.
That is staying, but the character is not going to go have the code name Iron Man. The code name will be Ironheart. And don't worry, her in suit AI is going to be based on Tony's personality. So Tony's still going to be kind of in the suit with her. It's like, don't worry. To me, that's taking your great change and saying, but not really
Really.
any
Right.
of it.
We're gonna
Which
put our toes into the pool and kind
we're
of
gonna
see what happens.
and just ooh, I don't know, because you know all things are transitory in comics. Absolutely everything. Whatever the fuck they're doing with Captain America, it sucks. I don't like it, but It's
Hail
not
Hydra.
permanent. It's not permanent. It's gonna go away. Uh, Tony Stark will be back at some time. Lynch, what if they kill him off at the end of Civil War Two? Yeah, they killed Steve Rogers at the end of Civil War.
They'll bring him
They
back. Yeah.
they did the whole Five Stages of Grief comics. Did you ever read those?
No.
Those were actually really good
Ah.
because they killed off Captain America and they had the five stages of grief. Like they had a 5 issue series. Each one was one of the stages of grief.
Huh.
And they got John Cassaday back for the art on the fifth one, which was Acceptance.
Nice.
But they were really well done. They really did it up, and they took a good few years to bring Steve back. I mean, Bucky was Cap for a while.
Right on.
So so these things are transitory, and if they go for a few years, that nowadays qualifies as commitment in comics. And
Yeah.
so it's not bad. It just I wanted her to be called Iron Man, especially since
They're doing
like
everything else. It's still Tony in a suit, basically.
exactly, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted Riri to come up with her own. Uh, I don't care if she called it Chim Chim. I really don't. It's just whatever it
Is the
was.
suit gonna look the same?
The suit, same. Well, and that's the other thing because the suit is not feminized in any way. I don't know if that's what you were asking.
Yeah, kind of
It
like they altered it.
it's a bit more slender because she's a
A
young woman.
15-year-old girl. Yeah.
Yeah, and but the same color scheme, same overall design,
They're not
pretty
doing
much.
like pink and gray, kind of an edgy.
It's not pink and gray. There's no boobs on the arm. Uh, so they're
Missing
avoiding
out,
all.
missing out and getting those 13-year-old boys. I'm telling you, you could have gotten more of them in there, but losing those sales. Yeah, tink tink.
Ow!
I can't. What the hell's going on? My teeth. So, oh
It's
god. I
and you
think they're
think
fake. I think they're fake.
because you've had in the past, whenever there was a female version of the male hero, they feminized the name. You had Spider Woman, you had She Hulk, you had Batgirl, you had Batwoman, you had Supergirl. All these things. Um, Something I'd like to think that we're starting to get past. But then occasionally you have a change in the a change in gender without changing the name. Um,
Like in those issues of What If, not What If, or What the, and they always had Wolverine turned into some bombshell with big tits and everything, like
yep.
Wolverina or something like that.
Yeah. But there have been female Robins, and that's just Robin. There was a female Hawkeye. A young woman took the mantle of Hawkeye for a while, and in the Hawkeye comic, written by Matt Fraction, fucking brilliant. Just oh my god, just hysterical. Pick up the first two volumes of that
All right,
and read them.
Of the Hawk, it's Hawkeye.
Hawkeye or Hawkeye, as
Hawk,
it's because
Hawkeye.
one of his neighbors calls him Hawkeye, and like Clint is not sure if the guy's getting his name wrong or if he's just being all bro stuff about it.
Right, it's
And
Hawkeye.
and there's a female Thor, and she's still called Thor. That one kind of annoyed me though because Thor is not his title. Thor was his name. Thor is to the Odin son what Ken is to you.
Hmm.
Like if you were a superhero and you're just like, yeah, I'm Ken, and then like you were all of a sudden no longer worthy to heft your dong or whatever you charged into battle with, and you know someone else came along and picked it up and said, oh, now I am Ken. No, you're
No,
not.
I'm still Ken. You're just the Donginator.
You're just the new dong wielder, and that's how that. And you've got the fact that the code name doesn't really matter. It's not like they're charging into battle as the Avengers, and it's like, yes, Iron Man, come with me, and we will go. No, he's Tony, or Shellhead. Most of the time,
Buckethead, yeah.
Bucket, all that stuff. It's not like they're like, well, Iron Man, what do you think? It's not like Superman and Batman.
Right, whenever they're in the Justice League.
When other people are around, they have to be like, Batman, what are you doing? Because apparently there was some comic recently where Clark referred to Batman as Bruce, like in front of the Joker. Apparently, but the Joker didn't put Bruce Wayne together. The Joker apparently replied, but it made Batman less scary to the Joker because he's like, now I know you're just some guy. in groups. So kind of funny, but it's like, dude, seriously,
Well,
you
he's
can't
from
you can't.
Kansas. He doesn't know this shit.
Did you ever read the relaunch of Justice League in the New 52?
Mm-mm.
God, the first couple issues are just hysterical because you've got Green Lantern meets Batman, and so they're chasing the same guy, and this is their first meeting. And Green Lantern's like, so what do? You fly? No. What do you got? Super strength? No. And he's just looking for clues, and Green Lantern's like, okay, wait a minute. You're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you? And Batman just looks at him, and then a few scenes later, it was written by Jeff Johns, art by Jim Lee. This
Oh,
is the ultimate comic.
yeah.
Uh, but a little while later, so Hal calls Barry to come because they're examining a crime scene, and uh, in the course of talking, so Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, is talking to Barry Allen, the Flash, and Batman's like, "Why are we calling this guy?" The Flash says, "Oh, in my civilian, I'm a CSI. I work for Central City PD. I do." And Hal's like, "Geez, Barry, secret identity." And Barry looks and he's like, "You just called me Barry, Hal." So I love stuff like this because, like, if I were a superhero, like, I'd be horrible at that.
Oh yeah.
If I were a superhero, I'd have to. Yeah, I'm Luncho, not my given name. So
Yeah, that's kind
fuck,
of
smearing the trail a little bit. And in Civil War, have you seen Civil War?
almost. I got some stuff on
Yeah,
my plate to throw.
you got some
I
fun.
got stuff on my plate to throw, brother. I'm just letting you talk.
That's good. That's good. But in Civil War, there's one part where because this is the first time that Cap teams up with Ant-Man. So, and Ant-Man's all like, hero struck. He's like, "Ah, Captain America, hey, how you doing?" And so in the fight, Ant-Man comes and he's like, "I believe this is yours, Captain America." And he says it in that voice and he refers to him as Captain America. It's a joke because that's not how they communicate.
No, yeah,
It's, you're Tony, you're Shellhead. She would be Riri or Shellhead. The her being accepted by the rest of the heroes would be when they start to call her Shellhead. She doesn't need to be codename Ironheart. It,
it's just Iron Man. Somebody else is in the suit.
y-
Like whenever a new James Bond takes over. I like that theory, and it pisses you off, but here you are absolutely defending the James Bond theory just with
no,
somebody else.
no, I'm not because he's the same guy. Roger Moore visited George Lazenby's dead wife's grave. So shut your lying whore mouth. That was the you know.
I just use your, yeah, I'm just, who
Come here.
cares? Who cares? Who cares who's in the suit?
Come a little closer. Come a little closer.
Ah! Except the suit's a tuxedo instead of an iron suit, and yeah.
Uh,
I gotta read that book. This book sounds great because it's just, yeah, it's all the business of it. And it's funny how you mentioned with the video games and stuff. And I mean, that's what affects me. Ken, you haven't seen this movie. You haven't watched this TV show. What's going on? I'm like, a new video game came out.
yeah, that's where my life went.
But we've been gone. We haven't done one in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I think we were recording on my birthday, which means our last recording session was 3 weeks and 2 days ago.
Wow. So I did some catching up, brother. I finally watched Ant Man.
And
I fucking loved it.
excellent.
I couldn't. I was like, knowing the story of Hank, knowing how everything was in the Ultimates, and I'm like, in the very beginning, it's 1989. They mention his wife. He's like, "You leave my wife out of this," and I'm like, "Ooh, how ugly is this gonna be?" Then I'm like, "This is 1989. Hold on a second. I don't remember. I did start watching Civil War and how it says 1991 and it has the wreck and everything. That was Tony's parents or Tony's dad dying.
Yes,
So
yeah,
in that,
both of his parents.
okay, and that was the beginning of that happened in the beginning of Ant Man also. You said something about Ant Man, how you'd have to know in 1991 if you saw Civil War ties in.
No, the Winter Soldier, because Cap in when he's talking to the computer program of Zola, gets some information, and he basically finds out in that movie that Hydra was behind the death of Tony's parents.
Okay. God, I watched. I
Oh,
watched.
but there's similar technology at use because that they oh my god, the creepy Michael Douglas, 1989, because they did that perfectly. I'm like, holy
Dude, he
shit,
fell
that
right out of that movie. What was that movie he was in with what's her
Black Rain
face? No, no.
or
Oh,
Fatal Attraction.
fucking Fatal Attraction. That's what I'm thinking of. God damn, I forgot about Black Rain. Fucking love that movie.
Black Rain is awesome. Uh, but yeah, so there's a similar effect in Civil War. When you watch Civil War, you're gonna see a little Robert Downey Jr. circa early 90s, and
Really?
it's freaky, dude. It's freaky good, is what it is.
Fucking
Um,
computers. So
yeah,
I finally watched Ant Man. I watched Age of Ultron finally.
excellent.
I
Oh
sat.
my God, Age of Ultron, another just I love. It's so funny because like if I ever met Chris Evans, I'd probably just fall over myself apologizing, and he'd think I was crazy because it's like, yeah, I did not like them casting you at first. It's not who I would have picked. I didn't, and now he freaking is Steve Rogers. There is no one else. No, no, no. That's my guy, and I just love the writing that they've done for Cap over the last few years. You saw Winter Soldier, right?
Oh yeah, I bought
So
that bitch in 3D, motherfucker.
Well,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
when he's in the elevator and he starts to catch on that all these guys are in there and they're looking to take him down,
Hmm.
and so he just before we get started, does anyone want to get off? That's Oh my god, the freaking pear on that guy. That's the comic book equivalent of like Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, saying any men don't want to get killed. Best clear on out the back. And then a bar full of guys run out the back door. You're like, what happened? These guys, they tried to take down Captain America. 11 of them? I think there's 11 guys. They tried to, and yeah, it didn't work.
No.
And Age of Ultron, Joss Whedon just like doubled down when he's like, when they figure out that they've got to, stop all the robots. And so Cap's addressing the Avengers. And like, all right, Tony, you find a solution to that. Everyone else, we take these things down. You get hurt them back. You get killed, walk it off. Like, holy shit, dude, that is awesome.
Because he was kick ass in World War II, man. He never lost a guy or nothing, so he just brought that back.
Well, except his best friend. Maybe
Oh,
don't.
but
God,
wait a minute.
lucky.
Yeah, he did lose him, then he found him again. Just kind of like in the cushions of the couch.
Yeah, yeah.
So what else am I thinking of? We got so I got caught up on those.
Good.
Started watching Civil War, got sidetracked. I still haven't finished season 2 of Daredevil
Okay.
because something happened and actually you got bitten by it as well, and that's the night of.
The night of. Oh my God.
Fuck.
It's funny. Okay, because
Fuck.
they had the trip. Okay, the season finale of Game of Thrones. The missus and I, we watched it a lot. There was a couple of weeks there where that's what we were watching pretty much every night. And right before that on HBO Go, it was the trailer for The Night of. So I had seen it. I had inadvertently and unthinkingly watched the trailer for it like a bajillion times. And this is before the series started, so I was like, oh, God, yes, okay, I'll watch your show. And so I had started to become kind of annoyed just by the show's existence. But then the other night we were trying to think of something to watch. She wanted to watch a movie, but couldn't think of a movie she wanted to watch. And I keep trying to get her to watch It Follows. Have you seen It Follows?
It follows.
It Follows. It's a horror flick.
I would hope so.
It,
It sounds like it.
dude, check it out. That movie is fucking vintage John Carpenter. Right
Oh,
down to the score and everything. It's absolutely fantastic. I saw it with my buddy Josh when it was in theaters, and like seriously, it's one of those movies where like saw it in the theater, had a great time. He goes to his car, I go to my car, I sit in my car, and I lock the door. I just looked out the back window to make sure it was not following because that's good. It's the hook of the movie is it's like some curse or something. It's basically a horror STD.
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like a sexually transmitted curse, but it's not silly at all. The movie is just creepy as fuck,
Well,
dude.
you watched Stranger Things. Cause
Oh my god, that show is awesome.
fucking, I mean, that made reference to every goddamn horror movie out there. Even Night of the Creeps. It just, we could do a podcast just on that alone. I want to rewatch the entire series because I was like, fuck. Which brings me to rewatching. The other night, I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, I watched the first maybe two. I think I watched the first two episodes of this. It looks like episode 10 just came out. Looks like the season might be over. Ah, what the fuck? I got a couple hours to spare. I'm changing my opinion on Preacher. I watched all of it.
Okay.
It I understood. I went into it with the mentality of knowing what the story is, knowing who the characters are, and all that shit, but also knowing this has to translate over to TV. Did you watch it? Have you watched any of them? You watched the first one, you said.
I watched the first one, yeah.
I really got a kick out of it.
Okay.
When Jesse discovers the voice, when he discovers Genesis, and it is a very organic. He's like, "Did I just? How did I? And he starts it kind of unfolds and just becomes a thing. And he's very much like he was in the comic. There were so many times where it's like, dude, use the fucking voice and get out of this. You can change the whole outcome of this thing. And he never really used it all that often in the comic. There were many times he could have used it and he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't think it should be taken lightly.
It's good. The TV show, I dug it.
I might watch more of it at some point.
The silence,
I don't know.
the long silence, the pause.
I'm sorry. I just fuck. That dude is this tall. He is not. I'm holding my hand level with my neck. You know, he played Howard Stark. He's wee. He is not Jesse Custer. And I'm sorry, there's the big bar brawl in the first episode, and that shit just looks staged, dude. That I watched. Shit, I can't think of the actor's name. What's his name? It doesn't fucking matter because he's not Jesse Custer. He played Howard fucking Stark. But anyway, so I basically watched, 4 or 5 really big dudes let Howard Stark pretend to beat them up. That's what happened. That's all I saw. No. I don't like the chick. Don't like her.
I used to not. I didn't like her at all either, and then she just fucking grew on me as I'm watching it. The first 4 episodes, they released those simultaneously for review, and when episode 5 hits, you can tell there's a change. There's a distinct change in the show's feel, vibe. They redid the opening at episode 5, and I liked it.
Okay.
I got a kick out of it.
Okay.
I just got to.
Jessica Jones is a really good show.
That I have to watch that. Yes, that's
Really
something
liked
else.
And there's more news from the world of Marvel, but Luke Cage drops, I think, September 30th. So that first season is going to be out.
Yeah.
And then we've got Iron Fist coming and the Defenders. And this past weekend was Wizard World Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't able to go because it's always the weekend we're on vacation. It's always the weekend I'm in Wisconsin.
He said it sucks anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if Marvel and DC ever came back, but I remember the first year, because the first year of C2E2 was, I think, my last year at Wizard World, because I also went to Wizard World that year, and I'm walking around and I'm like, where's the Marvel booth?
You had mentioned
Where's
that
the DC booth? And they didn't set up there. I think because Wizard World, backed out of some con or something, ticked off both of the big two. And so I don't know if they ever came back, but they weren't setting up.
No, Wizard came around because of the friggin' magazine, which is no more. So that book that you were talking about there, the business.
Yeah.
How old is that book? When did it come out?
It's from, I think it was published in 2012. Okay. It's about the 2011 Comic-Con. And it's funny because the stuff I was reading today is talking about the digital comics and talking about the at the time of the guy writing the book, the three companies vying to get a lock on the digital comics distribution.
Marvel, DC, Image?
No, like the digital companies making the app to read digital comics on tablets and stuff. There was Comixology, and God, I can't remember the name of the other two.
Because Comixology won.
Comixology was the clear winner. He wrote at the time, he's like, now, Comixology is the clear front runner right now, but we'll see how it pans out. And I'm sitting there, yeah, they won. Spoiler alert, Mr. Salkowitz, but they won. They totally had that locked up. And I actually used them when I was catching up on Batman to read Batman 50 and the Snyder Capullo when they
Hmm.
were signing off, because I went to the comic shop and I bought Super Heavy, but there were still a few issues to go before 50 because the Super Heavy trade was. I bought the hardcover because that's all it was there, and it was like five fucking issues. But I had to catch up. I'm like, you bastards. Uh, but so I went to the comic shop and I don't know, they were missing like issue 48 they didn't have or something. So I got it on Comixology and I read it. So, I
No,
have
they
it.
cost the same on Comixology.
Yes.
Hmm.
And well, that's an interesting point the book makes because they can't undercut the comic shops, at least not with current issues.
Oh yeah.
Because you've got this scale. The comics business, say it's 80% uh
Paper.
print.
Yeah.
It's 20% digital. Now, if you try to now, the problem is the 80% is in the direct market, they go to comic shops. Owning a comic shop is a rough gig because the profit lines are pretty small. A lot of these guys, they're completely dependent on their customers. So, if you try to grow the 20%, and let's say, like, now, if you're growing to new customers, that's great. But if your 20% is taking away some traffic from the shops, you could have a chain reaction where a whole bunch of shops close. So in trying to grow the 20% of your business, you kill the 80%
It's like
base.
it's like you're in business against yourself almost.
Exactly. So they can't undercut the shops right away, which is the bummer that I talked about at the top of this show. I saw on Facebook there's a Save Defiant Comics fundraiser going on.
They're still
This
around.
They're still there. Defiant Comics is the shop in Forest Park.
Oh, oh,
The
oh! I
stuff.
thought you were talking about like Defiant, like the comic company
No, not the comic
that
company.
Jim Shooter started. And okay,
No, not that. Because they changed to Valiant and then whatever. But yeah,
Warriors of
the shop.
Plasm.
Oh God, the shop. The shop on Madison. It's called Defiant Comics. Uh, it's a great shop. It's
Where at in Madison are they?
um they're just they're between Circle and Harlem. And it's not a big place, but you walk in, it's a great shop. And they have various events there that I'm never able to go to because, like, I, you know, work, kids.
Life. Yeah.
I haven't picked up my books in several months, and
Oh,
I
did you get the
and
phone call?
no, I haven't gotten a phone call. I don't know if they gave up on me or what. It wouldn't be anything negative on them if they did, because I get 3 books month to month, so
Oh, that's not bad.
my slot doesn't swell for several months, but then I start putting it off because it's like, oh, I don't have the money for even those 3 bucks.
Hmm.
And like when I go there so sporadically, because most of my comics reading now is through the library. I
That's
just
right. Yeah.
I get trades because I'm a boy on a budget with an X-wing addiction. So
How's that going?
it's great. Wave 9. The guy at my shop is hoping it'll be here by the end of August because I need those ships. I need to fly them. But yeah, so it sucks that the shop is in trouble. They're having a fundraiser at a bar called Chalk on Madison Street. So if anyone listens to this, lives in Forest Park, lives near Forest Park, check out Defiant Comics. This coming Sunday, yeah, they're on Madison Street. Sunday the 28th. They're having a fundraiser at Chalk. There's a split the pot. There's a silent auction on some original art from local artists. They've got a band playing. They've snacks, all this stuff. Check it out. Check them out. They're good guys. They're good people.
Sounds good. Will do, sir. That was episode 11 of Leonard Show Speaks.